All right. Hey, family. Happy Tuesday. I'm excited about tonight because I am literally opening up the floor for you to ask me anything. Anything. I'm excited about tonight's topic because there's some of you who come, you have questions, and I want to be able to answer them without a structured show like we typically have. So we'll jump in right after our intro. You are excellence. Your mind is of excellence. Your visions are of excellence. Your unique superpower is nothing short of excellence. You amplify a voice of excellence. Your contribution to this world will be of excellence. You will achieve your highest goals and desires with excellence. Excellence in everything, every time. I am really privileged to help women leaders build the audacity to use their voice in any room. For the last 10 years, I've had the privilege of traveling the country as a edutainer is what I call it. That's someone who takes education related topics, and that could be on any topic, just depending on your niche. But they present them in a way that's entertaining and not like funny, laugh, cry entertaining, but stimulating is what I define as entertaining. It's where you are completely engaged in the learning process of something that intrigues you, but the way that it's presented with to you is entertaining. And so I take pride in presenting things in that way. So tonight I am opening up the floor for folks to ask whatever questions that they have. If you're watching for the first time, let me know that you're here. You can type in, "Hey, I'm here." Let me know that you are watching, and then let me know where you're watching from. And shout out to my family who comes every week. Excited about tonight's topic. I want to share this. I just finished up the leg of my summer tour this past what was that? Monday. And I hired a photographer to come and grab some shots. And I wanted to point out that here, one of the things about photography is that it allows you to capture things that you can't see when you're in the moment. So I wanted to in live motion, share what I learned about this particular event. So I'm going to go back to the first image, and I want to stop here. Now, imagery is everything in terms of sales. So when I pieced together, I don't know why this, it won't stay here. When I pieced together this outfit, I did not think about how my legs, knees being out would photograph. What I, what I learned is that in imagery, it's best to choose something that is less distracting. So that was one of the things that I learned. So those jeans do not photograph well. The other thing that I learned, you see how these people, their heads are turned as they're trying to, like the people in the front have to turn all the way around. This is because I'm not up on the stage. And I chose to do that. I do that a lot, like where I come off of the elevated platform because I want to be with the group. I just think that it creates a little bit more intimacy, creates a little bit more personalization. I feel better being with them versus being away like I'm some elitist person, and I don't like that feeling, so I come down. But by doing so, this probably is discomforting, them having to look. So when I saw that in the photography, I'm like, okay, those are things to be conscientious of when you're set up in the room, where if you decide to walk the aisles, people in the front can't see you. It's different when you're in a space and a live video is following you, so they have a screen to see you. They don't have to turn. But when they have to turn, I just have to be reminded of that. So that was something great to see to see it play out in real life. But I would say like my biggest takeaways from the tour this year were definitely the need to connect with people when you first get to a space, and not to underestimate the connection you can make with people before you begin to speak. That hour before you start, as people trickle in, having that connection time with them, I think is pretty powerful. And making sure that I allot enough time, that I'm prepared so that I do have that extra time to give, where my mind is completely on being the best that I can in that environment versus when you're unprepared, you're thinking about everything to do to help um, make you look the best in the environment. So that was definitely a takeaway. I also learned a new trick. If you have to cancel your hotel, you should just change or modify the reservation to a later date. That way you won't be penalized if you do a no-show or you change your mind about the hotel the day of. So while I was on tour, I did that twice. I ended up changing locations just off of proximity to where I was going. Just wasn't a good fit. And I wasn't penalized. So I learned that hack. Oh, I learned another hack. If you're running late and you have to check your bags at the airport and you have a rental car, drop the bag off at the curbside bag check because I think if you have a check bag, you have to get to the airport an hour before I think it's an hour before boarding time. So you have a boarding time and then you have a departure time. I believe you have to check your bag an hour before boarding time. And if you're running close, just drop the bag off, especially if you have TSA pre-check or clear or global entry. But drop the bag off. You can check it on the curb and then loop around and go back and drop the rental car off. So I learned that too. You learn a whole bunch of stuff when you're when you're crunching time, trying to make things happen and moving pretty fast. So there aren't many of you on tonight. So I would love to know the one person that is here, whoever that is, what question do you have that I can answer? And if you don't have a question, you can leave a comment as well. Um, this I decided to do this in the middle of our Women in Leadership series because quite a few women who were new were coming to the channel, and I had not yet had a chance to interact with them. And I figured it'd be awesome to open up the floor and ask questions. And I wanted also to remind everyone about my upcoming Build My Message Masterclass. I'm excited. This is happening next Friday. This is a virtual event, so it doesn't matter where you are. You can come and join the room. Great for women who are in leadership, often asked to give a keynote. You have no idea how to piece together content that ranges from 15 to 60 minutes. Think about that. Someone hires you and they say, can you give a talk for 30 minutes? That's a long time. And so teaching you how to not just feel it, because you could feel it, but you want to be effective. One of the principles that I live by is that effectiveness is measured by what your audience retains and then how engaged they were for the duration of the time you spent with them. And that takes a lot of intentionality in content building. And so I'm excited to teach that in the Build My Message Masterclass. A lot of workshop presenters have trouble transitioning to be a keynote speaker. They are not the same. A workshop invites participants to engage and be a part of the learning experience. And a lot of times that engagement eats up your time. So you have less content to deliver in a workshop because you leave time for hands-on activity. Well, in the keynote, you better have some content. You got to have content to fill that time. You could engage your audience, yes, but the focus, the structure of a keynote is that there is a thought leader providing a very inspiring, informative message because they are seen as either an expert or someone whom is credible and worthy to speak in front of a mass amount of people. And so it's just a different feel. People have an expectation that you can come with something good, especially the more notable the events that you participate in, the expectation is greater. And so there's some spaces that I've never been asked to keynote, but I've been asked to do a workshop. And typically those are those elevated spaces where they're looking for sometimes famous people, if I can be honest, people who their face automatically connects with other people because a lot of people know them, or they have some type of science or research that they've published behind them. Some spaces that I've gone in, those are the selected keynote speakers, but they'll have workshop presenters who can be just as effective, but maybe not in the realm, but not with those kind of credentials is what I was trying to say. All right. When I posted tonight's podcast, I posted it kind of late. So that's probably why attendance is low. I literally posted it 3 hours ago. So that's on me. So what we'll do is we'll run this back. We'll run it back, not next week, but we'll run it back. So I'm not gonna keep you because I'm really big stickler on time, but I do want to say for those who catch the replay, thank you. You can drop your questions in, and maybe during next week's podcast, I can answer them aloud. All right, I love you. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it, and I'll see you next Tuesday, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. You are excellence. Your mind is of excellence. Your visions are of excellence. Your unique superpower is nothing short of excellence.